Snake Eyes. This is Storm Shadow. These are the new versions of things that existed in the 80s that were literally as close to religious icons, powerful totems, monkey's paws, upon which I laid all my future hopes and dreams. This thing, or the older version of it, that I would then later afterwards, in a teenage fit of pique, melt its head off with a bottle rocket, would sit on my shelf, and I would lay in bed at night and look at it and just think about how cool it was. This dude, this Vietnam warrior, whose face was scarred in battle, and he swore an oath of silence when his master was killed by, he thought, this guy, but it wasn't him. My name's Mike. This is the episode of Watch This Instead for the week ending today. And I want to talk about a movie called G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. And it was directed by Stephen Sommers, who's famous for directing a lot of not very good movies. G.I. Joe is about soldiers fighting bad guys, basically. All it really is a movie about toys, these toys. That's what it's all about, selling these things, which is fine. Stephen Sommers, the director behind G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, he didn't make the movie like the comics, which were kind of convoluted and kind of serious, or it wasn't like the cartoons, which were so kid-friendly as to be kind of corny and funny, where jets would blow up in the stratosphere, and every single time they would make sure to show you the pilot of the jet parachuting out, even if it was a bad Cobra dude, just so you know that he was okay and that he didn't die. What they decided to do was make a movie that's exactly like playing with the toys. It's 2 hours of guys shooting each other. Tank battles, jet battles, underwater submarine jet battles, ninja fights, car chases, accelerated suit running through buildings, fights. The movie is literally so action-packed. And I'm using that term as kind of a pejorative, that when multiple characters sit down to finally relax after a long, hard fight, they close their eyes and it goes into a flashback of them in another fight when they were younger. They said, well, there's this big battle, submarine battle, and then it's over, and then somebody wins, and then everybody's regrouping after the fight. So how do we get another fight in there? Well, have them remember another fight when they were young. That's the strategy, to make the film literally always constantly full of explosions and cutting people with knives. It's literally like playing with toys. It's like when I was 9 years old and I wasn't smart enough to write scenarios. So it would just, guys would just fight and be like, I'm gonna kill you. You killed my dad. You killed my dad. I'm a snake eye. My balls. You killed my master. The film is just like a movie made by the world's smartest 9-year-olds, and it's very pretty, and there's a lot of explosions, but there's nothing in the way of character development, panache, charisma, or really much in the way of humor, which is why the movie doesn't quite work. So what should you watch instead? Watch Stephen Sommers' version of The Mummy. It's not an amazing movie, it's not a masterpiece, it's just throwaway popcorn trash that's got action and jokes too, and moments where people relax and interact with each other and have chemistry between different actors that aren't just stand-ins for these things. It's not great, but it's an actual movie rather than a documentary about the crazy imagination of an 8-year-old kid with the biggest toy budget of all time. Watch that, or watch American Ninja with Michael Dudikoff if you like Snake Eyes, because that's a really ninja movie.